Hey everybody, welcome to episode 42 of Building with Sand. It is Monday, March 18th, 2013. It is the day after St. Patrick's Day, which I didn't celebrate whatsoever, like I often do with, or don't do with many holidays. I don't do any real celebration, but that's not to say I haven't been doing anything. The last, ever since Friday, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft. We'll start here because this is where we are. I did some work here at the plaza. One thing I did was rebuild the entire nether hub station here. It's done in a very small version of the Nubian pyramid that I have way up north. I even went up and reshaped the top of the obelisk here, so a little pointier, especially from a distance. And then I put some smoke up on top of the pumpkin pie factory. I'm still kind of don't know about that one. But I also put in this little I guess garden, whatever you want to call it. I even put a big palm tree up here. I don't know if I'm going to build another one of those, or if I do build another one, it might look different. Looks kind of funny. And I wrapped this wall around more naturally from all sides. I don't know if you can tell. I don't want to go down there. And then I also even finally got around to putting in some sandstone underneath the bridge, so it looks like it was actually supported, which is probably smart to do. So that's all I did on the plaza over here. At the pumpkin pie factory, where we left off last episode, this is still broken. I have yet to get a replacement for a T flip-flop. But we have all these are set up. They should go every now and then. There's got some weirdness that happens, but it's kind of maintenance, you know, as goes with any factory. We have some new stuff over here, actually. I put a bench in. A little table, but that's not really it. If you recall, we used to have a button here that was the button was for manual collection of items. This one, we have an automatic thing, and it should be on unless it got turned off for some reason. Let's make sure it's not turned off. Okay, yeah, it's still going. What this is, hold on, I want to look at this real quick. Yeah, it's on, so that means that there we go. For some reason this changed. I could swear my switch was the other way around, so yeah, switch that. There we go. Now it makes more sense. And let's go back down and take a look at what it was, and you heard it go off. What that switch does, we'll get to that after I explain this. This here is a clock, or a timer. This is an Etho design, if you are familiar with Etho LPs. What it is we have two hoppers that are completely full, and they feed all of their items into the other one, and then when that happens, there is a pulse that shoots through, and this block is moved, and it goes up there and sets off the pumpkin pie factory. What this does with these two with these two pieces of redstone here instead of just one, it goes up through here into this inverter, and it creates a one-tick pulse, which goes through our pulse lengthener and then up to the pistons up top to make them hold out longer. The switch powers this line of redstone, which is connected to this block or to this hopper, excuse me, and disables it when it's on. So that way it makes it so it'll stop moving parts back and forth, and this won't go. So it's pretty simple, very small. Originally I was thinking I was going to have some real big timer track and all kinds of nonsense like cobwebs or whatever, but this is very simple. It's about a 5-minute timer. I could have gone longer or with 10 or 20 if I'd use a day-night sensor. 5 is a little quick, but I think 10 or 20 is a little slow. And I like having noise around here. Probably, yeah, there was actually, well, there was at least one piece up there. So it is feeding it at a nearly constant rate of stuff. So no worries here. Now it's completely automated now. I'll never have to push the button again, as long as it's loaded, and it'll keep on going. The eggs do go quickly, much faster than everything else. So if the egg crates start filling up much faster than the pumpkins and the sugar cane, I'll just have to go up there and say goodbye to a couple of little chickens. Otherwise, that's all I had been working on here at the Pumpkin Pie Factory. I actually was thinking about maybe putting something like a minecart track underneath the floor that was constantly going infinite loops, so there's this or whatever that new minecart noise is. I was thinking about doing that, but I don't know. So what else? Spent the last couple of days like in excruciating pain, actually, as I started working out again recently for the first, like seriously working out for the first time in almost 2 years. I got injured when I was in the military, and it kind of just made me never want to work out again like I used to. And I'm getting fat, so I needed to do something, and I think I jumped into it a little too hard. Did a bit too much for how out of shape I am, because I didn't realize how out of shape I really am, which is a shame. But yeah, I've been like in incredible pain, in the sort of pain that I have never experienced before. And in the part of my body I've never really had serious pain, so it's kind of been disheartening. And it's made it so I had plenty of time to sit here and play Minecraft, because standing or even lying down creates major pain, but if I'm sitting it's not as bad, unless I shift around too much. But, I came across a video. It's been making some rounds through the internet. I found it because I do photography stuff. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And it was a video about a photographer took of photos from some trip to Morocco or whatever, but it was really inspirational for building deserty stuff. And I almost came here and burned down like all of Poorsville to rebuild and a new vision or whatever. But what I started doing was I've been going into creative and building houses towards a style. Like I haven't really reached where I want to be yet, but I've been building houses and trying to do something where I'm getting more towards a theme that is more fitting for the desert than houses like this, where it's just, cool, it's sandstone, but the peaked roof thing needs to stop. It's not a desert thing. That's for people who live in snowy places. So this is my prototype house. It's not great. But it's not bad. I don't think. And I just was trying to go with I need to put some more stuff into it actually, but it's getting to be more of how I want. What I need to do is get to a view so I can show you the top of the building. Up here in this rickety church, and so what I did was it's half slabbed on top with stairs, and I just did a little bit of extra randomness to it with a little bit jutting out here and there, like these parts. Went for little arched windows. Majority of it's just regular sandstone with little bits here and there of smooth. So that's it's like a prototype of sort of buildings I'm going for. The idea is I need to build more buildings close together, larger than these little ones, which are dumb. More of a house, and more towards the buildings on top of one another, which I'm realizing that my fervor in beginning this. What is that? Oh, that was a temporary sheet pan that I completely forgot about. But my fervor when I started this series of going around the country and flattening everything actually turned out to be a bad thing, because I want to build buildings on hills on top of and I want to build buildings on top of each other, and that sort of build lends to being on a hillside or mountains, so it's gonna be more difficult without having things like that. But we'll deal with it. I do have a lot more space in the city to do things like that, and I am periodically going to be building houses to fill in places, like especially around here and up north. I'm not going to touch Old Town until the end of, like, I need something else to do. But I think by that point we'll be moving on to season 2 and something completely different. I've thought about it a little, actually, when I want to do something like that, because my build style is changing and the city is kind of not being where I want it to be. But I don't want it to abandon it. I want to finish this off before we go on to something else. And I don't know if I do season 2, if it's going to be something like a second building with sand or building with something else. I've got my ideas, and we'll get to that eventually. Way down the line. We're only episode 42. That won't happen for a while. So that is what I've been working on city-wise. What I wanted to mention here is the new patch really messed with, I mean, it's a little buggy. And I don't know if I mentioned in the last episode, but there's no pictures, there's no paintings anymore. There is a painting there, they exist, but the problem is the patch did something weird. Most paintings vanish. You try to put them up, they will instantly disappear. Oh yeah, I meant to show this off in here. It's not done yet. I'm going to put a little kitchen, which is actually why I brought this. I wanted to put like a kitchen in. Hoppers actually look really good as a sink, and wanted to have like a little kitchenette. Oh yeah, one of my guys escaped from here, and he's somewhere around here. He might be down here. Oh, apparently we have 2 bartenders now, so yeah. And they're buddies. But this librarian, or whatever he is, managed to hop up here on this fence, and he like tried to hop over here or something, and he pushed the cow into the wall and suffocated in front of my eyes, and I was so sad because it took me so long to get the cow up there without it dying and to stick, and here's the poor cow. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might have to come up with some way to make it so villagers don't hop into the bar, and then I end up having 300 villagers hanging out down here. I didn't think about that when I made this. I don't think they'd actually even use this building as a house, but whatever. Getting a little sidetracked. What I want to do. What's in there? But what was I talking about? Yeah, so I haven't been working on detailing things like at the palace where we left off, or at the bazaar, because I actually have some ideas for the bazaar that I wanted to take care of. A couple new things, and I don't want to do that until 1.5.1. Which is going to come out fairly soon. I think it's this coming week, because last week was the snapshot to test it, and then I'm sure they're going to push it out this week. It's just a necessary bug fix. So once that comes out, we're gonna get back into actually doing stuff. That would have been good. Trying to think what would be like a nice kind of tabletop. Maybe a piece of cobble. This is a problem I have with having stuff everywhere. Is that means I don't know where I keep all my stuff. Oh well. Kind of also means that anywhere I look, I can find something I need, some sort of material. Why I had this when my test was I had the sink and two things. I actually had a piston, which has a very cool top, I thought. I had a piston somewhere. I don't want to make one. They're expensive. Oh, but I was going with a look of having signs. Oops. I thought it gave an interesting look to sort of like countertops or cabinets or whatever you want. And then what I also wanted was we have our faucet, and I need some iron. You know what? I don't have iron anywhere near here. It's sad because I just got a ton of iron. I spent the last day in very far away from here, actually, and I spent the entire day building a witch farm, excuse me. My wife helped me out with a little bit of terraforming and stuff, and what I ended up with was a square 128 by 128 with nothing but water, with the 15 by 15 or so witch farm place in the middle. And then I had gone caving. I went caving and did a bunch of stuff underground and ended up with a bunch of materials. But where I had picked the place to do witch farm was very scarce in terms of caves, which was perfect because that means I didn't have to do as much caving to, really get a good efficiency. I'll just sign there. In terms of, spawns for the witches. So I'll sit there and watch the witch spawn, and sometimes it'll be like, 8 to 10 of them or 12 of them at once, which is great. And the reason I built it in the first place is because I really, really need gunpowder. Because I need to blow up a ton of stuff in the nethers to make my wither skeleton farm, which I spent all that resources on, and making it efficient, because right now it's very inefficient. Even though it's over a lava lake, there's so many places still in a very wide radius for stuff to spawn that aren't wither skeletons. So I've gone through dozens of iron and picks to get rid of stuff, and I even went through a couple diamond picks hoping that it would speed things up, and it still needs a lot of work to make it worthwhile. But with this witch farm, I've gotten almost 2 stacks of gunpowder over the course of the day me working on it. A lot of that was from creepers and stuff, but probably do some AFKing overnight and getting my doing AFKing and getting a bunch of gunpowder that way. It also drops redstone and also drops redstone and glowstone and stuff, which is great because those are really useful too. So it's my little kitchenette. We have our countertops and our sink, and just a nice front around it. So we could have used, it's harder to tell when I have it set up like this, where it's in the wall. From a distance, you can kind of tell what it is. Now if I did it more like that, it's a little more obvious, obvious that it's a hopper. And it looks like it has a drain. Now if it was like a cauldron, which we could have done too, and put water in it, then it's a sink. But you don't always have water in your sink, so I think that's fine. I might stick with that. For some reason these signs do give a very strange, I mean there's a lot, even with the new lighting, I do have some new lighting on. We have this weirdness going on because of the signs. I really don't know what the deal is with that. Yeah, that's nice. Got our kitchenette here. You know, dining room. It's missing one little last thing. Well, I did have paintings up, but those are invisible, so can't see those. Did I have the clay here? Yes. Oh, I had to cook it. Right, these are in blocks. I want that to give me a good idea. What am I doing? Let that cook up, and give it a second. Only 5 pieces. But so the witch farm is in good shape, unlike my other wither skeleton farm, and I'll be getting a lot more gunpowder, and hopefully that will eventually lead to me getting better wither skeleton drops or numbers, and that means more beacons, and that means more obelisks, and we'll be getting on the road to where I want to be with the city, slowly and surely. But we're not going to do any building today. I'm a little burned out. I do... well, let me think. Today's Monday, another one's going up Friday. I do plan to get... depending on the next patch comes, we'll be working on some random stuff. Probably in the meantime, before the patch, I'm gonna be, you know, doing something like working on more houses for here in this part of town or everywhere, and then also going to be looking around for more stuff. There's actually there's like 2 or 3, actually, I'm gonna say 4. So there's a couple of stall ideas I'd come up with over the last couple of weeks that I have yet to bring to fruition. So that's one thing I do want to work on. That would actually bring us to being almost done with Bazaar if I did that. First, I still need to do a little more color here and there. But yeah, that's where we stand on the city. I still need to work on the palace, of course, and we will get back to that. And the patch kind of made it to be... well, I mean, it's kind of the patch is why I took a detour. But, you know, just like always, we will always get back to something we have yet to finish. It'd be like that. Well, I guess it's centered if you look at it this way, but if you look at it this way, it's off. So that's the automatic thing, and Got stuff going through. That's good. Yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to show? I really don't. Nobody has any ideas what to do about this T flip-flop business. I would love to know. I've been watching the YouTubes, and I mean, there's more and more videos coming out slowly over for like new stuff. Yeah, like new redstone-y things. So hopefully eventually we'll, you know, get that fixed. Somebody will come up with something. I mean, I've seen some where they claim to fix the T flip-flop, and then between like the pre-release and the patch or something, it was completely different, or you know, one of the snapshots before the pre-release and then the pre-release did a completely different thing. While we're here and I'm thinking about it, and we have some time, I'm gonna do what I meant to do a long time ago. Actually, what I meant to do day one of the patch. I still haven't put the fountains in. That's gonna come. Will eventually happen. They're still over there. I literally have not come over here to do any work on the palace ever since I got bombed by that creeper in the last episode. I still haven't figured out where that guy came from, and I'm not gonna go over there because that means I'll look for him. I do want to pump up here. My wife said she did something. All my paintings are up. Excuse me. You have hookahs. Need to mirror this over here. It appears that this is working because there's the sun. If it, I won't know until it's daytime, but when it's daytime, if it's a moon, we're good to go. So that's great. I mean, those day-night sensors are a lot more straightforward than well, you know, having that bud switch sort of grass-growing sensor. So yeah, no real worries about it not really working. Just making sure I wired it. If it's not working, it's my fault because I didn't wire it up right. But, here to the other side of town. Just running around in the middle of the night. Did I leave? No, I didn't. Oh, you got a lot of buckets over here. You're gonna have lava. More stuff that I had no idea I'd left here. One day I will actually go around the city collecting up all the trash that I've left around forever and ever. I brought more than 3 pieces of this. But go. Quartz slabs. You probably can guess what I want to do with this because I just went over to try to do it. I actually have yet to use any quartz in the builds. Why is that still open? No. What? Uh-oh. Nope. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect real quick and fix this. I'll be right back. Okay. There we go. Oh yes. The water is so fixed now. So, one of the things with the patch was that when you have water, in the past, you put a source block, and even if it was still on the top, if all the water was still on the top, all of the blocks underneath the source block would be down currents, so it'd be really hard to swim around. But in the patch, they fixed it so every time you had, you know, source blocks on top, all of the blocks underneath it would become source too. So especially that's a big deal for the ocean. If you're doing stuff around there, you won't be having that weird whirlpool kind of effect going on. So now we can actually swim around in the pool without it being too slow. You still sink, but it won't be like pushing you down bad. Let's do what we came to do. So that made it 4 days. That's good. There we go. We have our diving board, which looks more, I'd say much better than it was. Yeah, I'll leave it at 5. 4 was a little short. I think 6 would be too long. But I want to use quartz much more in builds. It's kind of what matters is when we get around to actually using it. What I might do actually is use it for, you know, here and there we're going to be using it to touch up stuff. Like I could probably get away with using quartz for the iron golem face here on the wall. That'd be a possibility. You know, I don't want to use iron. Iron blocks the texture I'm not a big fan of, but using this new white block they might work out. So yeah, that's a possibility. I might just stick with the smooth sandstone. It does look good that way too. I don't have a lot of quartz yet. Actually, looking at it, his face is kind of brownish. So we'll stick with the smooth sandstone. But yeah, I'm still meaning to put in quartz up top of the sword. I was actually going to do that for the episode, and it was just getting too late. So we're gonna call it here. Hopefully you guys aren't too disappointed by the fact that I didn't do any building on camera or anything, but I have been busy. I know there have been times in the past where I've been ignoring Minecraft, but this has not been the case recently. I've just been doing a lot of stuff off camera and really trying to improve on everything. And, you know, I think this view now is much better. Now, maybe turn those into palm trees or something. But especially from a distance, the obelisk looks much more pointy. Good. And the factory is in motion all the time. I had to light it up there so I wouldn't have like creepers hanging up in my smoke. But I want to use a mixture of white and light gray. It looks okay. I actually wanted to use black, but I guess we're using, you know, it's a food processing factory. It's not like oil refinery or something. But oh yeah, I meant to put that in there. Anyway, we're gonna call it. Call this episode. It actually went longer than I expected it to. Any ideas, as always? If you like this series, of course, and you're new to it or you have yet to subscribe, please do. Likes are always appreciated. And you know, thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope you come back for the next episode for more building with sand. Take care, everybody.